There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Oh, some record predictions for this year. Oklahoma's first year in the SEC. I want to know kind of where we're all at. Just a recap of what we had at the end of the year. So back in January, I want to say.
Yeah, after the bowl game.
January.
After the bowl game. After the bowl game. Patrick had us at 10-2. I said 9-3. Mark at 11-1. Ryan at 8-4, and Matt, took the week off. So,
that's crazy. Matt texted me. He said he thought we were going to go 3-9. Actually, Matt, can you confirm that one for the boys?
I cannot confirm nor deny, but I'd be more than happy to give my predictions when we get to that portion.
Perfect. Love that. Okay.
Good for us. So we're about at that
great legal jargon.
Yeah. So Matt, let's go ahead and lead it off then. Let me know. Let the people know what we should expect from the Oklahoma Sooners this year in terms of a record. Go ahead.
First year in the SEC, we got drawn with a very, very tough schedule. Let's just not even joke about it. We have one of the toughest schedules in the entire country, especially going on the road to LSU, to Ole Miss, even Auburn. I mean, I'm just looking at these games here because I have them pulled up. I think I would say the floor and what I'm optimistic and setting a nice expectation, I think 8-4. 8-4 for me. I think the losses.
What are the L's?
Yeah, I think the losses are going to be Texas, Ole Miss, LSU, and then split between Alabama and Missouri in one of those games. That's who I think. Really, the back half of the schedule. I think we split really the SEC schedule. We could even go further, but I think 8-4 would be a solid record, especially playing the SEC schedule. It's really going to be relying on Jackson Arnold. He's going to take us as far as that arm can go. I have a lot of faith in the defense and the offensive line. It's just Jackson Arnold. Can he get going against those SEC defenses? That's one I have to see, but 8-4 is what I'm going with.
Patrick, go ahead.
It's weird because if all of our wheels are turning, I really see us going through the season with only 1 or 2 losses. However, it's just a lot to expect all the wheels to be turning from the beginning of the season. I think we're going to be one of the better teams in the SEC this year, but just because of the rough schedule, everyone's going to be knocking on each other. I'm going to go 9-3 for the Oklahoma Sooners this season.
What are the L's, Pat?
What are the L's, Pat?
Look, we beat Texas more than we don't. I don't understand why most years you guys say we're going to lose to Texas.
It's a toss-up.
So that's a dub. That's a dub for
overall. Their record is better than ours.
Overall, but I'm talking recently.
Yeah, you got to go back to World War II.
Yeah, I'm just saying. We got burnt orange tea over here.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Gosh, I don't understand what Austin T's up to.
Yep. Statistics here. That's all I'm saying.
So historically speaking, the game like the last 10 to 15 years has been decided by 1 score or less. So either one it could go. We just have been the benefactor of winning a majority of those games.
That's why we got screwed on our schedule. So
yeah, some might say the better team, right? Like when you're the benefactor of like a single digit game, you're usually
the better team. Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Patrick,
I'm just making sure.
Who are your losses?
It's super tough. I honestly don't know.
Okay, Tennessee, let's get it out of the way. We're gonna lose to Tennessee, right, Pat?
You have to.
I think we beat Tennessee. I think we maybe drop to Auburn because we're on the high from the Tennessee, similar to being on a high against Texas. I think I'll put in Alabama, and then I hate to do this, but I'll put in LSU too. That just makes sense to me.
Okay. I said 9-3 at the end of the year last year. I think that's kind of where I'm going to stick. I've had people been asking me the last couple of days kind of where I see it. I think you can go the low end. I think you can go 8-4 and 7-5 if you want to be a doomsday scenario. I can understand that as well. But I really think this is a 9-3 football team, and anyone looking to make the SEC excuse, miss me with that. This is a grown man football team. You have grown men on this team. You have talent all over the field. You can match up with about anybody. And Matt's right. It's going to be a lot on Jackson Arnold, and I completely agree with that. But I think the good news for Oklahoma is you start the year, Temple, Houston, Tulane. And I think those 3 games are going to give Jackson Arnold what he needs to be really composed and ready to go. Brent Venables made a fantastic point earlier this week when he had his press availability. And he said, I thought Jackson did a great job in the one game that he started as the Oklahoma quarterback where we had 500 yards of offense and he threw for over 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. People forget that.
That's the shit I've been saying about that game.
Yes.
The picks were there. The picks were there, but Jackson did not look bad. He just had some dumb throws. Go ahead.
I rewatched that game this weekend because I needed to feel something.
Yeah. That's right.
Jackson went when Gavin went. When Gavin could run the rock, Jackson played significantly better.
Oh,
I believe Jackson goes when Gavin goes. Not really necessarily the other way around.
Good to know. Something to be on the lookout for. So 9-3, as we said, that's what I think. I'd love to say 10-2. I would like to be pleasantly surprised at 10-2, but I think 9-3 is realistic. And if we are less than 9-3, I will be upset. I will be, because I think your losses, I don't think you lose to Texas. I think you lose to Ole Miss on the road. I think you lose, and I think you have those last 2 games that are tough. I think you lose Alabama, and I think you lose LSU on the road to end the season. I think that's what you do. Because I think you start off hot and you run through Texas, run through South Carolina, and you get to Ole Miss kind of riding high. And then that's kind of your real first SEC road test, and you kind of get hit in the mouth. That's what I think happens. Now, can I see maybe you win that Ole Miss game and instead I don't think they drop the Tennessee game, but do you lose the Missouri game? That's another tough road game. I think that could be one you trade in and out, but anything less than 9-3, in my opinion, should be unacceptable. And I think it will be. I don't think OU is going to be looking for excuses to shrug off an 8-4 season. I think they're going to do everything they can to be in the hunt at the end of the year, fighting for a spot in the SEC title game. But I think that's tough because I think they're going to drop the last 2 against Alabama and LSU.
I've got kind of a weird one, I think. So I'm gonna go 10-2. What can I do? I'm a sucker. Matt's thing goes without saying. I think Jackson Arnold is sort of the X factor, right? If it doesn't happen with Jackson, then it's not going to happen this season. But why would we be a podcast that wants to dwell on that future? That's silly and not fun and dumb. So I'm gonna go 10-2. And I think one game that we're sort of overlooking is, sorry, I had the schedule up, is the Auburn game. So Oklahoma starts the season with 4 straight games at home.
Yep.
Tennessee is our first SEC game, but they're coming to Norman. Going to Auburn, Alabama is going to be a brand new experience for these guys. Mm-hmm. And Auburn is not Auburn's unranked. So this would be an upset if this happens, but I think the atmosphere is going to be a lot for Jackson Arnold, whose last away game came in San Antonio, right? Wait, that's not the right bowl game. Alamo Bowl?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Nice. Okay. Last away game came in his home state, man. His next away game is going to be in Alabama. I think that's going to play a factor, and we should be ready for that game to trip us up. Next one, I think we lose 3 weeks later in Ole Miss. I think that Lane Kiffin just brings out that offense and throws the ball all over the yard, and the transfers come through on the defensive side, and it's our next away game after that Auburn game. I just think that it's going to take time to get to that point. Those are the growing pains, is the away games against SEC teams. But I'm a little different than you guys. I think the team gets stronger towards the end of the season, and we see things round into shape, mostly because we finally have the competitive depth that Brent has been harping on since day one. There's guys, we talked about it with the linebackers last week. There's guy after guy after guy after guy that we're now comfortable throwing out there in depth situations when you got to get Danny a breather. There's guys at receiver. There's guys at running back. The lines are still question marks, but I'm going to count on the talent and the talent development there. So 10-2, losses against Auburn, losses against Ole Miss. Bang.
That is bold.
I like that a lot. I like that thought process a lot, getting better towards the end of the year and getting more shaken up at the beginning of the year during our first away games. I like that a lot.
Some of the competitive depth stuff that Mark, you made a good point about that, but I saw a tweet today. I think that if Oklahoma gets a 2025 top 10 class, after the Vasusi commitment, they're a top 10 recruiting class as it stands right now to most of the metrics. If they get that 2025 class is a top 10 class, that's their fourth straight top 10 class. That's 4 straight.
Impressive.
That's how you build competitive depth. That's how Alabama and Georgia stay so good year after. Now they're top 5 classes. Let's get that straight. Okay.
It took them a while to get there.
You're right. So. Completely correct. But I'm just trying to make Mark's point for him. They have the bodies and they have the skill guys there. It's really just about getting that development going. And those first 3 games are going to be so important in my eye, because playing those young guys and getting them some experience is going to be so valuable down the line. When Mark talked about when you get to the end of the season and you're playing real football, because you're going to have injuries and you're going to need guys to step up who didn't really play all year. And it's going to be important those first 3 games, I think, to get those guys some reps so they'll be ready to go.
So I think I'm last.
I think you are.
Correct.
And if anyone knows me, which you guys do, but the listeners, they probably have learned to know me over the last 2.5 years.
I think so.
You will know that I am the most doom and gloom out of all 5 of us.
No.
So
give it to me. 7 and 5.
I said 8-4.
Okay.
No,
that's not doom and gloom.
Hold on. I said 8-4 in January. This is before I knew our schedule.
Here we go.
I am saying 7-5.
And
I am saying 7-5 because I hope to God I'm wrong. I really do.
Of course you do.
But
who would want to be right more than who would want to be right more than see the team succeed? Sorry, Ryan.
Yo, is no. I understand that this is a very different team this year, or we haven't seen it yet, but we're expecting this to be a very different team than we've had the past couple years, a lot better team. But I keep going back to the fact that this team went 6-6 2 years ago. And I know there was a lot of new things going on, brand new coach, so many different things happening, but that was against a pretty easy Big 12 schedule. And this is one of the hardest schedules in the entire country that we have this year. This is the very first year of us playing in the SEC, the hardest conference in the entire country. This is the first year of a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator. This is the first year of a quarterback, a young quarterback who has not been fully tested. I think when you include all of that stuff together, I think this is a very, very hard schedule, and we're going to get punched in the mouth a little bit. So my prediction is 7-5, and my losses are at Auburn. I completely agree with Mark.
Good call by Mark.
I think that is one of the hardest places to play in the country. I don't care if they're not ranked. I don't care if they are quote unquote bad. That's going to be a hard place to play. I think it's Texas. I think they'll get us back for last year. I think it is at Ole Miss. I think that's something that we all agree on. I think it's going to be Alabama, and then I think it's going to be LSU. So I'm saying 7-5. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you guys are and like I said, I'm usually pretty pessimistic about things, but there's too many new things going on this year. I think if you give us a few more years, I'll probably be on the 10-2 train.
A few more years, huh?
Part of me feels like this year is going to be even better than next year just because of the talent we have in the defensive backs. you know?
It's just there's more stability, I think, next year next year's going to be a hard ass schedule too. But like with just how new it is to go into the SEC, like all these away games, this is going to be a completely brand new environment that I think is going to take more than just a game for us to get used to. And I think that these teams and how good they are, it's not like we're playing them in a bowl game, right? We're playing them in a regular season game. And I don't know. I just have doubts that it's going to be as we're going to step up to the plate in every single capacity year one. That's just my opinion. So,
okay.
Ryan's the only one of us to take the under on the season win total for the Oklahoma Sooners at
guys,
7.5.
I hope I am wrong.
And I think we can all see what marrying a Baylor grad does to you.
Got him.
Classic.
I've always been negative. I've always been the one who's like, "Oh, we're gonna lose."
Somebody has to be. You know, we can't all drink the Kool-Aid.
When was it, Mark? When was the OU Texas game that we went to the 28-0 in the first quarter?
My God. Well, it was and we wanted to leave. We can't leave. We're not going to leave.
It was hot. I was just like, I want to leave.
I will say though, if it is 7-5, that's unacceptable. To not make the playoffs,
I do not think that's unacceptable.
Disagree, Pat.
That's unacceptable.
I don't think
we got to see
it is
how
the first year, and it's brand new coordinators. And a brand new quarterback.
Last 3 years, we've had top 10 recruiting classes. It'd be unacceptable.
I agree. I agree with Patrick. And to Ryan's point, you have two new coordinators. Cry me a river. I mean, if you're a good program, that's going to happen every year. It's going to happen every year. Ask Kirby Smart.
But it's not just that. It's the fact that Alabama and Georgia have been playing these schedules for the last 10 years or more than that.
Sure, but we play one of them.
My contention on that is I don't believe Brent Venables is going to let the team get punched in the mouth that way over and over and over again without coaching him up. He's played in hard atmospheres, he's coached he's coached in national championships. And once these guys, I mean, your argument is the crux of my argument for the season. I just think there's an upward trajectory towards the end after that Ole Miss loss, right? Yeah. And I think they rise above where they are in the Ole Miss game by the time we get to the end of the season. Yeah. Whereas it seems like you think they just keep taking body shots.
Not necessarily. I think that, well, first off, I'm not saying they're going to get blown out in all these games. I don't think they will. Like, I think they'll be close. Like, I think they'll be competitive. I think that I think we probably do get better toward the end of the season. I think Alabama is a team that also gets better toward the end of the season. And the talent that they have on that team does outmatch our talent. And the LSU one is strictly because it's at Death Valley. I think that's a almost impossible place to play. So, yeah.
You won't hear an argument from me there. You won't hear an argument. Let us know down below in the comments your thoughts on the season prediction, wins, losses. We read every single one of your comments, boys.